Hey guys, eyes open in California here. So I'm making a video about my dream last night. And I've been thinking about it all day long, and I didn't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to, right? So I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show you what my dream was. In my dream, there was 6 buildings like this, right? And they were laid out kind of like this, right? 3 on this side, 3 on that side, right? And they were probably 2 times longer than this, maybe 2.5 times longer than this. And we were living in them, whoever we were. We're in the middle of nowhere, just like this picture right here depicts. We're in the middle of nowhere in a building that looks like this, except these air vents, scuppers, or whatever you want to call them, they're on top, underneath the eave. There was no windows, there was nothing, just top breathers right underneath this eave here, right? So there's 6 of these, and we're living, and wherever we are, we're living just fine, or whoever we are. We're doing just fine. We're having a good old time. And it's raining and it's super muddy. And the geographical advantage to this place was that it had a long, super long dirt road to get into this property. And it was all flooded out. It was like a big mud bog, and it was deep. It wasn't like a 4x4 can get through it, like just any plain 4x4. Like this mud water, the water itself was like 5 feet deep. Like it was unpassable by any regular means of automobile or truck, right? Which was the advantage. And somehow we're living out here in the middle of nowhere by ourselves, and we're doing just fine. And these 6 buildings were our houses. The first one, um, the one of the first interior one on the left side was like the common areas. It was like the kitchen, the living room, the it was huge. Like the inside of this was nothing like the outside. The outside was maybe, I don't know, 40 feet by 10 feet wide, but the inside was freaking like 100 by 100, right? And it was just like, wow, this was a surprise. So I don't know what that detail means. So then we start hearing this noise, like a huge racket, like just a ruckus, like thunder is coming. And then I go out there, and splashing through the mud bog are these amphibious track vehicles. Um, they weren't super huge, um, but it was some kind of track vehicle. I'm gonna stop sharing now. And as this vehicle is, as we're just going through this mud bog, I was sitting there, and I'm a dude, and I'm just like, man, those vehicles are awesome. And all I can think was, I want to drive one of those. And they're all coming. When I say all, I mean all. Like this was a military unit, um, coming through our property wherever we were, or whoever we were, and they were Russians, for sure, for sure. I do not suffer from Russia phobia. If I had Russian neighbors, I would love them. If I had whatever neighbors, I would love them. You get what I mean? Like, but anyways, this is the Russian military, and they showed up wherever we were, and they had been, I guess, I don't know what the deal is. So we get there, and then there's a Russian general, and he's laughing at us, and he gets all of us out of our, for lack of a better term, concrete little bunker houses or whatever, and he lines us all up, and they're getting ready to shoot us all, and he starts laughing, and he's telling his buddies in Russian and all this kind of stuff, and all of them are laughing as they're pointing their rifles at us, and people got the big machine guns, like they're getting ready to freaking vaporize us. We're gonna be red pancake batter in a few more seconds, right? So he starts laughing, and then he says, "You Americans, you thought we couldn't take your country, and we just walked right in." And he started laughing, and then I started laughing, and he goes, "What are you laughing about?" And I said, "I actually warned him." He goes, "What?" And I held up like an email or something, and I said, "I sent them this email, and they didn't even listen to the warnings, man. I told them you were coming, and they didn't even pay no mind to it." And I said, "That is hilarious." And we started laughing. And I started laughing. Then he started laughing, and all of them started laughing. And then he said, "I like you." And I said, "Well, I'm happy because I ain't really ready to die yet," something to that effect. And he started laughing. And I said, "Hey, you know what? I've actually read your book." And he said, "Wow, that was fast. It just got published or something of this nature." And I said, "Oh, maybe it was the old one." So I don't really quite understand what to do with that information because the only books I read are scriptural books, right? Like Apocrypha, the Bible, and this, that, and the other, Enoch, and anything that has to do with biblical doings. I like to read that, but I don't just read anything. Anyways, make the long story short, they did not mow us all down, which was cool. Um, but we all laughed for a long time hysterically that people were warning the US government and they never took anybody seriously, right? And they just basically rolled right into our country with no resistance whatsoever. And the reason was revealed to me in the next scene, right? So in the next scene, I'm somewhere on some highway in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it almost seemed like Route 66 or something similar to that. Like you kind of get the feeling of it, like just a long deserted highway with only just a few little stores and then nothing for miles and miles. Well, one of my kids was at a diner eating, and there was a fog coming over a hill. It wasn't a high mountain, just a low hill, maybe I wouldn't even know how to say it, maybe 500 feet max, 500 to 800 feet max. And this fog is coming over the hill. And somehow I know that this fog was dropped by aircrafts. Again, this is my second aircraft bioweapon delivery freaking dream, right? So aircrafts, I guess, led the way and dropped this fog all over the US. And this fog, and this is the second dream of this. The fog was some freak engineered spinoff of the herpes virus. And anybody who inhaled this fog immediately fell over convulsing, and their bodies like immediately broke out with hives. And it was just like, it was a very, very violent reaction to this thing. But this is the second dream. Anybody who has had shingles uh, can basically walk through it and nothing will happen to them because they're already immune, right? The other thing that was given to me in this dream was that the day of this attack was going to take place on the calendar date anniversary of a breakthrough in the virus that occurred 72 or 73 years ago. I literally have no idea what to do with this information. 72 or 73 years ago puts us back around 1948 to 1950. I researched on Google. Was there any medical breakthroughs? Was there anything going on with that virus that we figured out? And I couldn't find anything. So I literally emailed the CDC, the Center of Disease Control. I emailed them my dream, and I told them that there's there's going to be a bio attack on the calendar date of some sort of medical breakthrough in the herpes virus 72 to 73 years ago. And the delivery method was going to be an aircraft. So, in case you're wondering how serious I am about the things that I dream, I am very serious about the things that I dream. Serious enough to put my name on an email to the government to warn them about this. Do you get what I'm saying? This is not a joke. I am not doing this for entertainment. Um, if so, anyways, let me just keep going with this dream. Right, so this fog was coming down this hill, and I was running as fast as I could um, to one of my kids that was in this diner, so I can get my kid out of there, and we can hightail it out of there. Right, that was what I was trying to do. Right as I was riding to the diner, I hear a strange noise that I've never heard before, and I look up in the sky, and I see this aircraft, this thing is what I saw in the sky, but it was huge. Like, I know this has the shape, like you kind of think this looks like the the body of a 747, but I'm telling you, this thing was gigantic. This was way bigger than a 747. Like I don't even on a I would say on a 5-to-1 ratio minimum, 10-to-1 ratio. Like this thing was 10 times bigger than a 747. This is the craft that I saw in the sky, right? And then the next scene, I'm in the craft looking side to side out the windows, and I'm like, wow, this freaking like this thing is huge. And then I'm back on the ground and I'm looking up at this thing again, and this thing is flying like this, just like it looks like in this picture right here. That's how it's flying across the sky. This thing is so humongous that it has to fly like this when it's going slow. And then when it goes faster, somehow I knew when it goes faster, it can fly regular. But as it's going slow, it has to fly like that because it's just so freaking big and heavy, right? So that's how it went by in the air. And then I looked up, and here's where the dream takes a turn for the even weirder. I look up, and there is a humongous mothership up there, right? This mothership was not at like, 25,000 feet. Like when you see a commercial airliner flying across the sky, this was not anywhere between 20,000 or 25,000 feet to say 35,000 feet, right? This mothership, I would say it was somewhere around 70,000 feet. Like this thing was way, way, way far up there. Like it was up there, right? But it was enormous. And that craft that flew by like this, circled, and it started going up to that thing, whatever that thing was, whether it be a space station, whether it be a mothership, whether it be a hologram. I don't know what it was, but that freaking weird shaped craft was flying up to that thing that was up there. And that was the end of my dream. And I did not want to make this video at all because of the sheer, like, of it. But I fear if I don't, um, who knows? I mean, I'm telling you, I emailed the CDC twice this morning about this. The first title was, I think I titled it something like herpes virus question. And the next title of the email, I put uh, BioWeapon attack to try to get their attention, right? And I put on there also, I said that I dreamt it and there was some sort of a medical breakthrough 72 to 73 years ago in this particular virus. And whatever date that breakthrough happened is the date that the attack happens. And that's the reason why I emailed them. So hopefully I email them. They do the back research on it because it's a disease of some sort and they'll figure out what I'm talking about and they'll alert the proper people. I don't know. All I know is when the Holy Spirit tells me something, I say it. No matter how much I don't really quite understand the details, somebody might know the details behind it, and my job is done. And I even did a copy and paste of Ezekiel 33, verse 6, right? And I'm going to share my screen. Oh, wait. I'm going to share my screen and just, let me see here. Is it still sharing? I'm going to have to do this first. Give me 1 second. I'm going to load Ezekiel 33, verse 6, so that way you can see what I'm talking about. Ezekiel 33. Okay, so this is Ezekiel 33, verse 6, right? And this has to do with the watchman on the wall, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coasts and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. Right? If you see the sword coming and you don't blow the trumpet, you're in trouble. Well, my dream last night told me that a sword is coming, and this is the second dream that I've had. I'm even going to link that previous dream in the description box of this one. That way you can check out the two, right? But I'm telling you guys, I don't know what the deal is with this disease, but I am telling you that this disease, I believe, is going to be chemtrailed and fogged over our country, and it is going to bring our country to her knees. And here's what the strange part is that I just connected here a few minutes ago. In my dream, the Russians walked right into our country. It would be impossible for them to walk right into our country unless there was some sort of thing done to our country first so that nobody could fight. How could somebody fight any invading army if they're on the ground twitching and shaking and growing hives and boils all over their body? You couldn't possibly, and I would imagine it would come with a fever, because I mean, you see all these outbreak kind of movies and it always comes with a nasty fever. And if that nasty fever is anything like the man flu, I don't recommend that on my enemies, because the man flu, it's brutal, right? But they just walked into our country and just drove right in, and there was no resistance, and they annihilated everything. And they were laughing because they even said, "We walked right in." And I said, "You know what's funny? Is I told them you were coming." And then they were like, "That is funny." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And they did not turn us into red pancake batter by way of machine gun, which was cool. But what I'm saying is this: there was a medical breakthrough, and and the only conclusion that I can possibly come to myself is that this so-called disease and or virus, the cure was known 72 to 73 years ago, and the government was playing you know what games to make a buck, right? Because doesn't that sound like something they would do? They would suppress the truth and choose to feed their own citizens one pill at a time per day for the rest of their life, rather than to cure them from a disease and or illness, right? That absolutely sounds like something that they would do. And if that's the case, and they literally suppressed the truth about this virus, that it was cured, especially almost like 3/4 of a century ago. It was cured 3/4 of a century ago, yet they suppressed the truth to make a dollar. And that ends up being the Achilles heel that allows this invasion to go through with no resistance. Oh, that would be hilarious. That literally would be hilarious. That in order to make a buck, our country was brought to her knees. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I love my country. I do. It breaks my heart. Once my eyes were open, it broke my heart to find out the down and dirty about what's really going on, right? Um, do I still think that there are some noble people in government? I do. Do I think that they have ever been our president? Absolutely not. Any of them. Any of them. Right? But do I think there's noble men and women in our alphabet companies that are scrambling around trying to stop all of these attacks? Absolutely. I absolutely believe that if it wasn't for these everyday heroes, the unsung heroes, that we would have been wiped out a long time ago. So To the alphabet people, thank you. And I don't know what to do with this information other than to put it on the web. I don't know what to do with this. This is my second dream. I'm telling you, when a bioweapon happens, when a bioweapon attack happens, it's going to be some strange version of the herpes virus. I've dreamt it twice. I have no reason to believe, or I have no reason to dream this in any way, shape, or form. So, to anybody in the CDC who watches this, anybody in the FBI or the whatever, whatever agency you work for, look into this. What happened 72 to 73 years ago that was a breakthrough in this disease or virus, or I don't even know what the difference is? What happened? What secret is this dirty ass country sitting on, right? Because I believe wholeheartedly that the cure was found almost 3/4 of a year ago, and they have allowed everybody to be sick to make a buck. And this is why the invasion is going to be so easy, because they're probably all the enemy peoples, they're probably already vaccinated against this. They can probably pick it up and sprinkle it on their oranges and eat it like freaking tahine and salt or chili powder. But anyways, eyes open in California. Thank you.